Today, watching the World Cup from Gaza.
While I'm leaving the match that I'm watching now, something next to me could be targeted and I could lose my life. But despite everything we are suffering, we are continuing, and we will watch the matches despite everything we are facing.
With football's biggest celebration underway, how fans and players are fighting to keep the game alive in Gaza. I'm Malika Bilal, and this is The Take. Hey everyone. As you're watching our episode today, even if you're doing it out of the side of one eye as you keep another eye on a World Cup match, we want to hear how it's resonating with you. Let us know in the comments. And if you're listening, share your thoughts in a review of The Take on your favorite podcast player. We love reading them. Here's the show.
So this is Maram Humaid, al-Jazeera English digital correspondent in Gaza. I live in Gaza, I work in Gaza, and it's my third year covering the war so far.
Maram, welcome back to The Take. We've talked to you at several points across this war, and so it's good to have you back on today with the connection that is holding in Gaza. The 2026 World Cup is in full swing, and football fans around the world are locked in. And you recently wrote a piece for al-Jazeera.com that shows that Gaza is no exception to that, except for the fact that watching the games there now means doing it on a phone screen with spotty internet under the sound of Israeli bombs that continue despite a so-called ceasefire. So take us there. What has it been like?
To start with, the word like the ceasefire, it's just a lie in Gaza. We cannot say that there is a ceasefire. There is a stop even for the war. There is an ongoing bombing. There is a daily attacks, and this also comes with the start of the World Cup. People are watching and following the World Cup, and they are making their ways to the stadiums, cheering, and just following the matches, while people in Gaza are just living in their separate world, running behind securing electricity and internet and securing the basic necessities. It's like a totally frustrating situation, I would say. But also I talk to people and I see this glimpse of hope that these matches from time to time, it gives them a resort or this feeling of escape of the surrounding suffering. But some people told me just 2 days ago that they cannot watch the match live. They should just secure internet and then go to the electricity, and they could download the recorded match and see it and watch it the other day before. Like it's after the whole excitement has gone, and they already watch the match after knowing the result of the match,
right.
And
because the results would be out on X.com and on social media.
And I watched this man who was holding his mobile and watching the match and seeing I know I know what happened, but I'm trying just to see the atmosphere of the match, how things were going with the kids around him and watching the match themselves, on that phone. And unfortunately, this applies to many people here. I asked him about his passion, are you still passionate about the World Cup and the matches? He said, unfortunately, no, I'm not passionate about the football anymore. I was passionate about the football and the sports in general, but now after what I have witnessed during the war, I'm just upset, and I'm just trying to create escape for myself. So these 90 minutes or less than 90 minutes, those are just my escape.
Right. Well, that makes sense. 90 minutes at least of distraction, if not passion.
Yeah.
Well, Maram, people watching the games might notice that fans who made it to the tournament are making sure the Palestinian cause gets attention. And that's from Toronto, Canada to Kansas City in the United States. There are chants in the stadiums. There are flags honoring Palestinians in Gaza. But before we get into Gaza more specifically, where does Palestine fit into the World Cup? Is there a team taking part?
Unfortunately, the Palestinians are not present in this World Cup. And I don't think that Palestinians made it before to the World Cup, but they have this maybe participation or just the Palestinian attendance inside the stadiums. Just for years ago, and the Qatar World Cup, we have this representation. Even there were restrictions actually, and there was the Israeli blockade imposed in Gaza for more than 17 years so far. There were this representation and this pressure to allow the Palestinians from Gaza to travel and to go and to attend these the World Cup in Qatar in person. And some of those players were talking to me. They expressed their feelings and how it was great for them to be inside the stadiums and to attend and to cheer and to just to be among the other players and to get introduced to other players, and especially with the Arab countries' teams. So this is what basically frustrating the Palestinian actually population in general watching the World Cup. We feel that we are isolated. We are not being represented.
Yeah. So the piece that we talked about that you worked on, in which you talk to footballers who are trying to keep the sport alive in Gaza, it begins in the remains of something called Palestine Stadium. What does Palestine Stadium look like today?
The Palestinian Stadium is a newly created pitch in Gaza. It wasn't that known before the war, but now after the war, it became like the sole actually place, sport place in Gaza, or a playground that is available for the players to come and to play on. You won't believe the road from like the place and out of the place. It's a wholly destroyed area. I can imagine how it's hard to get into this area. And some teams, sports teams, tried to recreate the place and to try to renovate the area in order to create a pitch for the other teams to play on, and to have this, small or tiny period of playing this sport. And I attended actually many quarrels and fights between the teams that this is our place. We need 2 hours. We know your hours are finished now.
So there's demand.
A huge demand, and to find an appropriate time in order to shoot and to go to shoot, for example, with the Irada team, because there are other teams practicing, and it's really funny for a moment, but it's really also miserable. And at the same time, how those guys, those young men, those teams are sticking to the life, and how they are trying to make their best in order to be present and to practice football and to keep sending messages. Actually, every time they finish the game, they would just do this gathering and take this photo for all the team and send it to Instagram platforms that we are here, and they are sending actually international messages to Pep Guardiola and to the international teams around them, to anyone who is supporting the Palestinian sports community in Gaza.
You mentioned Team Irada team. That is one that you reported on, you watched them play. Tell me about them, and tell me about this one person on the team whose image and whose description really stuck with me. He's a footballer named Ali, on crutches, training on the pitch at what's left of the stadium.
One of the most faces that I didn't forget is Ali Tafish. He's a young man. And I met Ali like the first time in last February. I saw him and he was looking very sad, very frustrated with this pale face while playing and insisting in keeping playing. And when I interviewed him, he said that he lost his family, he's lost his mother, his siblings, and himself, he was injured. He lost his egg in that attack. He was a sprinter before, like since he was 15 years old. And then he woke up after the amputation seeing that his leg was amputated. He lost his leg, he's lost his family. And also now he lives in a school shelter. And how after just, long months of frustration, he got to know about the team by some of his colleagues, and then he decided to register, and now he's playing. And this time when I came to the pitch again and I saw him, like, Ali, you're the one, I want to talk with you again. This time he was just more cheering, and he was looking that he's feeling better this time. And he told me that he's suffering with the transportation. He's walking on the crutches. The transportation system in Gaza is totally destroyed to anyone. Like, he's walking for hours, for 3 hours, for 2 hours in order to get to arrive to the pitch.
He is an amputee who's on crutches and is walking through territory that is littered with rubble and other things that do not make it easy to walk on. And he's walking for 2 to 3 hours to get to the pitch. And then he plays.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, with
That's
full
incredible.
excitement. With full excitement. And all those amazing men, like all of them are amputees, and they are taking it seriously to the most, as if it's just an official game. And this is just an unprecedented scene for me, that a resilience that this team keeps showing to the world. So that's why we need to give them support. They need to be shown. They need to be presented, and they need their presence need to be appreciated and highlighted by everyone.
Right. So you mentioned support. That brings me back to FIFA, the organizer of the World Cup, and what it could be doing, because teammates of Ali's have talked about their frustration, their disappointment that FIFA hasn't delivered in support of Palestinian sports, in their view. So in February, FIFA announced this ambitious plan to rebuild football in Gaza, new pitches, stadiums, an academy. But in your reporting, you say that the players, they don't see those promises going anywhere. What actually happened?
And when I asked them about what happened, they simply said that nothing happened. Nothing changed, as you can see. Like, it's the same, because I visited this team and last February, and now it was like I reported on them like at the end of May, and nothing have changed. And there is a growing sense of the frustration, because football communities in Gaza want to rebuild, and they express their frustration over these promises made by FIFA. Why our reality and our suffering are being ignored. They feel that they are alone, isolated, and no one is stepping in to change or to support them. Even the FIFA, actually, that pledged to these changes and to improve their conditions, but nothing have changed. Just like the whole reality of Gaza.
Of course. It's worth mentioning also that FIFA has been criticized a lot for not banning Israeli clubs from settlements in the West Bank, and for its refusal to sanction Israel for the restrictions on travel and movement that have basically crushed Palestinian football, as you're describing. Recently, the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, even tried to force this handshake between Israeli and Palestinian officials at the 2026 FIFA Congress. That didn't go over well online.
Yes. Actually, to be honest with you, players in Gaza try not to talk a lot about the FIFA and the other, were like other unions, because they still have this little hope that something might change in the final moment. At the same time, they are frustrated. The Palestinian community and the Gazans are very they are sportive society. They were cheering for, and now they are actually cheering for the same players, well-known players, and they cheer for Messi, they cheer for Cristiano Ronaldo, for well-known names, and they support them. But they are frustrated why those players that we supported them and we loved them like any other, community in the world, why they are not mentioning our suffering and that we are being genocided, we are being killed, we are being massacred. And at the same time, that's why they totally appreciated the stance of Baby Guardiola.
I'm sorry. This is my feeling. You can discuss when completely kill thousands of innocent people, it hurts me. It's no more complicated than that. I'm sorry. I'm a stand-up. Always I will be there. Always.
For themselves, they are seeing sports and football as an ethical game that would represent the good ethics and would stand for the rights of other people. And this is actually what FIFA does. When the Russia and Ukraine war erupted, they banned Russia from participation in the World Cup matches and their presence inside the FIFA Union. But there is no, nothing happened when there is an ongoing and a live stream genocide happening in Gaza. Nothing. There was no official stance by the FIFA towards what's happening.
Yeah. And you mentioned the famed football coach who came out in support of Palestine in February, and that drew backlash. But it showed that, there is someone in the official ranks who is trying to make sure the Palestinian cause is not forgotten. Madam, we're talking about football, of course, because it's on, and it is what the world is talking about. But we just hit a pretty grim milestone. More than 1,000 Palestinians killed since the ceasefire was declared. And as we wrap up this conversation, it dawns on me that you and I talked about your reporting and what life was like way back in October 2023, one of our first conversations. And it was just after Israel's bombardment of Gaza began. It's now June 2026. You're still living in Gaza. And you told us ahead of this interview that some of the stories that you're reporting on today are more difficult than the ones you worked on during the war. What do you want people to know about life in Gaza today?
I want to say that the word ceasefire doesn't reflect the reality people are living these days. Every day here in Gaza, there are airstrikes, shelling, bombing, and reports of people being killed and injured. There are families that remain displaced. Many are still living in tents and damaged buildings. They lack basic necessities such as food, clean water, electricity, healthcare. And people are still woke up each morning not knowing whether they will be able to feed their children. There is a constant feelings of uncertainty and fear. And for me as a mother, for example, I do just feel very afraid of moving and going out with my kids, even just to it's the summer holiday these days, and I would go to the beach, for example, a cafe or to a place. There's no playgrounds. I hear them
playing in the background of this interview.
Yes,
because they're
they
inside.
They destroyed everything. They destroyed the place I am living in For example, we don't have toys in Gaza. In Gaza, toys are not allowed to enter Gaza strips. I'm struggling to secure toys and to provide my kids with something that keeps them occupied and keeps them busy, because it's my responsibility as a mother. But at the same time, the safest thing and the easiest thing for a mother just to go out, to go to the beach, to the beach, for example. But for me, it's extremely dangerous to do this, especially within these days. Like bombing is everywhere. Yesterday there was 2 bombings in the most of the in one of the busiest places in Gaza, and there was a bombing on the beach, and yesterday was a bombing to the one of the central markets in Gaza. So it became really challenging and terrifying to go out and to move and to walk. So there is a huge lack of the feeling of safety. I cannot feel safe at any time. And you're trying to secure the basic necessities. Like you mentioned that, Maram, finally we are seeing you today connected to internet, and it's a stable connection. But I strived, to reach this, to this stage of my life, actually, to have this internet and to secure the batteries. I'm still spending my whole day just running behind the electricity, behind the solar panels, and just charging the batteries in order to secure the internet connection, as for someone who's working a journalist. And now my huge and my upcoming aspirations is just to have the fridge and the washing machine in my life. This is my dream now for a working woman. I need to cook for 2 days in order to keep the food not spoiling. I need to use the fridge. This is like things that people like any elsewhere take it for granted. It's for me, it's dreams. Everything is destroyed, and you are just working and doing everything by yourself. There is no control. There is no authority, controlling Gaza or fixing things in Gaza. Right. So that's why, like while people dreaming to go, planning to go to spend summer in Maldives and in other areas, and trying to spend summer vacations, for Maram and for other people living, their huge dream now is to use the fridge and to use the washing machine, and just to try to get out of this Stone Age life. And
Madam, I wish all of your dreams and more come true immediately. Thank you so much for doing all it took to get to this interview today, because I know clearly it took a lot. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Malika.